Today, we're playing with fire.
Why are boys always so obsessed with fire? Why is that?
Today we're making a smoked glass old-fashioned.
I know, it's kind of exciting. Like, we love them and we've gotten them out before, but we've never actually made them ourselves.
Right, so when we've had them, they infuse the cocktail with a smoker. This recipe calls for smoking the glass, so it's a little bit different than infusing the actual cocktail. But today we're making an old-fashioned.
Where'd you find the recipe?
Kevin
found the recipe this time.
I found a subscription service that sends you the ingredients to make cocktails. It's called Shaker and Spoon.
Yes, and it's perfect for us.
And so they don't supply the alcohol. They let you select the alcohol you want. So if it's a whiskey,
They kind of give you like a suggested, this is what you should use.
Right. But what they supply is all the ingredients like the bitters and the garnish and things like the wood chips to make this.
I know, it's so cool.
It's a pretty good subscription. This is our first box. I believe they started in 2015. And the description of it is basically the couple who started it liked to make drinks, and they were tired of going out and buying a whole bottle of, like, I don't know, maybe you'd buy like a whole bottle of peach schnapps.
Oh, yeah.
And then
you go, I'm going to have this bottle forever because I'm never going to use it.
And then you'd make the drink, and then you'd say, well, now I have a bottle of peach schnapps. So we actually have a plethora of
like
obscure
the
mixers and liquors.
The Midori that we have and we'll have till the end of days.
That's the problem solved by this subscription thing. So you get the ingredients in reasonable amounts that they say make up to 8 cocktails, I think.
Yeah, I think that's what the recipe said, up to 8.
So this is the first kit, and the drink's called, what did they call it?
Crank it to 11.
And the premise is they give you a drink recipe
Comes
card
with a little recipe card with instructions
and the name
on
is
how to make the drink.
The name is a play on the way they tell you to make the cocktail is to put the ingredients in a glass, set it on a speaker, and
turn the bass up.
Crank it to 11. See what they did there, and let the music mix the drink. We're gonna go old school and probably use a bar spoon, but we're making the drink. So we're gonna set fire to some wood chips, smoke some glasses.
I'm a little nervous, not gonna lie.
And if we don't,
I hope this goes well.
And if we don't burn the house down, we're gonna have old fashions. All right, I am gonna attempt to get some fire going, or at least get some. We took a little time earlier to just start to try to burn the chips a little bit to get a head start.
Oh, right, because they come in this little Ziploc bag, and they're like pretty fresh hardwood.
Oh, right, it's hickory,
chips.
so it is a hardwood. So hardwood is hard to get started as far as burning it. So I am going to just set some flames to these.
That's burning. Let go of the lighter. That's actually burning. Let go of the lighter. That's actually burning. No.
What? All right. So it's kind of like building a campfire.
It's kind of like building,
a little campfire. You have to
teeny tiny
build
campfire.
A little wood teepee. All right. So getting the wood chips to burn is harder than expected.
But then once they do, I mean, that glass is pretty filled with smoke. Those are starting to go. There you go. Fingers crossed. There we go. Look at that.
We have smoke.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Okay, and so now those just sit and kind of accumulate the smoke, right?
Smoke the glass.
Yep. Okay. So the drink calls for 1.5 ounces of whiskey. So.
Oh yes, and our friends at High West Whiskey were nice enough to give us this bottle. All I had to do was drive to the liquor store, give the nice man $35, and they gave us the whiskey.
Jeez. You're so weird. He's so weird. So, as usual, we're making 2, so we're going to double up on the recipe. Are you watching the smoke?
I'm watching the smoke.
Nice. I don't know why I never think to put the pours on these bottles.
How many ounces was that?
1.5 per drink, so I doubled it up.
Doubled it up.
Doubled it up. Yep. And then, let's see, 1/4 ounce of black cherry syrup. So it came with this little jar of filthy black cherries, and it tells you to use the syrup right from
the cherries.
From the cherry jar. And fun fact, 1/4 ounce is actually equal to 2 bar spoons. So rather than try to pour it from here into the jigger, which is going to be a mess, yeah, I'm just going to grab a bunch of it in the bar spoon and dump it in.
And these were literally called filthy cherries?
Literally right on the label says filthy cherries, yes. It's super like thick and syrupy, like maple syrup almost.
Alright.
And this is 4. Okay, and then it says 4 dashes, not drops, of cherry bark vanilla bitters. Again,
4 dashes, not drops.
Not drops. So I think by dashes they mean...
How many drops in a dash?
They mean the whole dropper. I don't know. Don't ask me hard questions. So we're going to go 1.
So 4 per drink, double it up.
Correct.
Right? That was a pretty short one you just did right there. That must, hopefully that one ends up in your drink. I'm reaching for the bottle because I wanted to smell it.
Well, you can, there we go. Here, now you can smell it.
Alright, and this is Bittercube Slow Crafted Bitters Cherry Bark Vanilla. Did you smell it?
I didn't smell it. Does it smell good?
It does, actually. It smells very dessert-like.
It smells really good. Okay, and now you're just going to stir. So we're just going to stir. Now we need to invert the glasses and try to save as much of the smoke as we can, don't you think? Because we got to put the big ice cubes in there before we pour the drink in. Or we could do it the other way around, pour the drink and then put the ice cubes in.
Either way, I mean the glasses are smoked now.
Okay. So then we'll just pour. Oh, look at that. See that?
Wow.
That's super cool. I think you're more excited about the smoke and the fire than you are about the drink.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You don't know? All right, let's see how we did. I like the color of it. Pardon my fingers. Making a mess, as usual.
Cubes should have went in first.
I know. I usually do the cubes first.
Note to self. Ice in first.
Cubes first. Yeah, I usually do cubes first, but I don't know. I think the smoke in the glass threw me off.
And we all know that Karen
has to garnish the drink, and they tell you to just grab 1 cherry for each cocktail. They look so good too. They look really good. I'm excited about this. Are you excited?
These are not the cheap cherries you find on an ice cream sundae.
These are not maraschino cherries. No. Okay, here we go. The moment of truth.
Smoked glass, old fashioned, known as the
Crank it up to 11.
All right. Cheers.
Cheers. Mmm.
Not as smoky as...
Subtle smoke.
Not as smoky as when you get a smoke-infused drink, but just enough to add to the experience.
Sometimes when you have a smoked drink, I say to Kevin, the next day, I feel like I smoked a pack of cigarettes. Not in a good way.
So this is a good alternative.
So this is like, it's very subtle, but I get the smoke like in the back.
You almost smell it more than you taste it.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's vanilla, cherry bark vanilla in there, bitters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is in there. It's a little bit creamy sweet, but I almost think you could use a little more bitters.
You think?
I mean, it's good, but I think I'd rather have, you know, that added flavor jump out a little more. But I guess it would, if you had smoke and that, would probably make it too complicated of a drink. But
maybe. I don't know. I think it's lovely. I think it's lovely.
Yeah, it's good. Of course, we like every drink we make, so.
Shaker and spoon box number 1.
And the subscription, I believe, gives you the recipe, it gives you the ingredients for 3 drinks a month, I think. And January is...
Meaning we're going to get another box this month?
I think so. This was one that we just added to try the service. And then I think this month our subscription box, I think, actually comes with the ingredients, I think, for 3 drinks. And they said that January is Ginuary. So there'll be 3 gin drinks coming in the box.
Gin drinks. Oh,
so
boy.
some gin drinks coming up.
Oh boy. I'm a fan of this. This is right up my alley.
The benefit to it, like they said, was you don't end up with a lot of odd, ingredients that you really wouldn't
Well,
use.
I mean, there's still quite a bit in here. We're gonna have that's gonna last us for quite some time. And
They
wood
give you
chips,
plenty of wood chips, so I don't.
yeah, those are gonna last forever.
The wood chips were hard to get lit. Again, hard hickory wood, but
I mean, I suppose they don't want you to create a full-blown fire.
no, I know, but they give you They give you quite a bit of
They
chips.
do give you quite a bit of chips,
But
which
it
is
works.
fine.
But we can use them and do the same thing. We can smoke. We can smoke
smoke
glass.
everything.
And it's again just smoking the glass, but it adds to
Yeah,
the whole
but it
experience, the
works.
flavor, the aroma. Mm-hmm. Really good.
I enjoy it. I can't wait for the next box.
And you
to
could
come.
use different whiskeys. This is a rye whiskey, so rye just means that 51%, at least 51% of the mash was done with rye. But
Yeah, the recipe just says American whiskey, so you could use any kind of whiskey you wanted.
you could
I
use a
suppose.
bourbon, all bourbon's a whiskey, but not all whiskey's a bourbon.
Correct.
So a bourbon is actually made, I think, with the malt is more corn, which I think makes it sweeter, smoother, less edges. So I think it's corn and barley makes a bourbon, and 51% of, or less, but it has to be at least 51% of rye makes a rye whiskey, which has a little bit of a spicy, thinner taste to it, which I like.
We've bought this bottle before. It's very, very tasty.
But you could imagine doing this same recipe with the bourbon, which would be
Change
almost.
the flavor.
It would be a different drink. It would be, like I said, smoother, rounder, maybe go a little heavier in the bitters, which had a kind of a sweet sensation to them.
Well, that's the fun of making drinks at home, is that you can play with the recipes.
And you can play with fire.
It's childproof. You're so weird.
Well,
You're so weird.
I think it's a success. So
I think so too.
you're going to see some gin drinks coming up in January. January.
All
right.
I don't know. We'll see. I did want to make mention of something that happened just recently. We got the coolest compliment in our Instagram DMs when one of our Instagram followers sent us a screenshot
Of a drink they made.
of one of our cocktails she had seen on one of our videos, and she recreated it at home. So Reagan, here's to you.
What was
You're
the drink?
awesome.
Do you remember what drink it was?
Oh, good grief. Was it the rum shot eggnog drink? The one that we never really came up with a name for? Did we call it Santa's Little Helper? We called it Jack Frost. We called it several different things. Wild Italian Amarena cherries.
Those are not your
Not
grandfather's-
maraschino
Those aren't your
cherries.
grandfather's cherries.
You're not putting those in a Shirley Temple.
Well, you could. Smoked Shirley Temple.
Yeah, because you want to give your child a smoked drink.
Adult smoked Shirley Temples.
But a Shirley Temple is a kid's drink.
Not if you put vodka in it.
And then it's not called the Shirley Temple anymore.
Alright, well then it can be called a Shirley MacLaine or something. Was she in movies with Jack Nicholson or something? Is that her? Like when he had that.
You know
that,
who she is.
That movie where like they were older people, like a couple lived next door to each other and had like a love-hate relationship.
The Terms of Endearment.
Terms of Endearment. I think that was a
Terms of
sad.
Endearment.
That was a sad movie, wasn't it?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was sad.